Hello everybody and welcome back to TaxCrunch. My name is Christopher Volis and today's video is going to be about the Grand Rapids City tax break that is available for the year 2020. This is for non-residents of Grand Rapids that work in the city limits and are used to paying the Grand Rapids City income tax.
You don't have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
So typically, non-residents that work in Grand Rapids have to pay a 0.75% tax, 0.75% on any income earned within the city limits. Well, in 2020, because of COVID, Grand Rapids has come up with a break that can allocate that income whether or not you worked at home or worked in the city. So this tax break comes on a separate schedule. It's called CF-COV. It's attached to the Grand Rapids City tax return. It's basically a questionnaire to see if you're eligible for the allocation, and then there's also a table to break down exactly what percentage to allocate it. So let's break down those 4 questions that they have to determine your level of excitement to see if you're going to get a tax break.
The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here!
All right, so once you look at the CF-COV form, you'll find out pretty quickly that the only people that are going to be eligible are the ones that worked from home and maintained their normal workload. So the scope of your work stayed the same. You didn't have severely reduced hours, you didn't have severely reduced responsibilities. It was basically the same job that you had. You just happened to be doing it at home instead of in the workplace. So there's going to be 3 groups of people that are not eligible. The first one, if you were laid off and you collected unemployment benefits, you're not going to be included. Remember, unemployment benefits are not taxable for the city of Grand Rapids. Number 2, if you were paid but you didn't have to work, you're not going to be eligible. And number 3, if you were paid but the scope of your work was severely reduced, same thing, not eligible. Now the examples that they use on the questionnaire are if you answered occasional emails, had occasional work-related phone conversations, and were on call. That's the example from the questionnaire. So basically just a reduced scope of work, not eligible. So that brings us back to the original people that will qualify. You kept your same job, you kept your same hours, you just happened to do it remotely. So how do you figure the credit?
Right. Let's do the math.
Well, the city starts with a base of 260 work days available. That's 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. What you're going to do is you're going to reduce that by the amount of days you had off, whether they were paid or not, vacation days or just unpaid days. That's going to be the base available days that you had to work. Then you're going to figure how many days you actually worked from home. So those 2 numbers are going to be the determining factor in the percentage of time you worked from home. After that, it's a simple calculation. You're just going to take your wages times the amount that you actually worked from home, that percentage, and that amount is going to be excluded. So you're only going to pay tax on the days that you actually worked in the city. So how does that work out in dollars? Let's use a nice round example. If you make $100,000 of wages, you're typically going to pay $750 in city tax. It's 0.75%. In this particular case, if you happen to stop working in the office in late March, like many people because of COVID, and never returned, that's approximately 3/4 of the year you worked from home, you're going to save 3/4 of the tax, which would be over $500. So it's very possible that 2020 might be the only year this credit is available, still to be determined based on how 2021 unfolds. So take advantage of this credit if you can. If you maintained your normal work hours and you worked from home, you'll get that allocation, get a little bit of money back from the city of Grand Rapids. One other thing, if you do take the tax break, you are going to need a signed letter from your employer just confirming that you worked remotely for the dates you stated on the return. Just attach that letter to the return and you'll be good to go. So I hope this video helps as a reminder to take that tax break if you can. Remember, those city tax returns are due on the 30th of April. If you need any assistance with your tax preparation, feel free to call me, or you can comment on the video as well. And remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can be aware of any new content as it comes out. So once again, thanks for tuning into TaxCrunch, and stay tuned for more content.
TaxCrunch.